Yes, if you've been downtown lately, you've probably noticed these no vending signs with arrows pointing in both directions. The damage is expansive. When we first arrived here, we saw several people just surveying the area, trying to salvage anything from these homes that were destroyed in this tornado. Now, I want to take your attention over here to my left. You can see a large U-Haul van that's pretty much toppling this car. One of those male victims was at a bar here on Broadway. The next day, he realized his iPhone and credit cards were gone.
And people who live in the ground level units of this apartment complex told me the water came up to their chest. And I want to show you remnants of this. This is debris that's sitting on a pedestrian bridge over a creek. There's nothing but tree limbs, pieces of wood.
They say they're truly frustrated, and literally everywhere you turn inside of this parking garage, this is what you'll see.
We're told from White House officials, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden will land right here in just about 20 minutes. Now, the First Lady will meet with 75 to 100 military families.
A big update this morning, exactly 2 weeks after the Christmas Day bombing. Metro Police say part of 2nd Avenue North is back open this morning, and some of the businesses along the stretch will reopen very soon.
And just about an hour ago, officials updated us and told us that one person is dead after this small jet crashed into the lake. And they also confirmed with us, the FAA confirmed that 7 people were on board at the time.
This window is boarded up from the shattered glass. He says it was a terrifying moment he'll never forget. Days from now, Broadway Street and other surrounding areas will look a lot different after the Metro Traffic and Parking Commission officially banned sidewalk vending. And as for the game, no shortage of excitement. 3 goals scored in the second half between Nashville and Cincinnati.
I heard what sounded like an explosion last night. You can just take a look here. You can see all the rubble. It's a proposal that can make your next trip to the pump a little less expensive.
Developing now, a shooter is on the loose and a woman is in the hospital after she was shot in the parking lot of Opry Mills Mall. It's the second shooting that has happened there in just 4 months.
Such emotion tonight for that grieving mom.
A very emotional interview, Marius, and I can tell you, Shakia Cheryl says no mother should have to be able to bury their own children. She says she is still coming to grips with losing 2 sons. It's a pain she certainly wouldn't wish on anyone.
They just took my babies, and they injured all the rest of us but one.
Shakia Cheryl says the pain and suffering she's experiencing right now is unbearable after losing not 1 but 2 sons on the same day.
That when you see one, you see the other, and they both died together. They both died together.
Friday night, police say 2 armed men got inside of their apartment on Torbert Street in an attempt to rob her family. She says she ran to get help from neighbors.
When I got back in the house, the first thing I seen was my 15-year-old laying on his bedroom floor. So I went straight to him, and, I started applying pressure, and I yelled out, is everybody okay? And like I was saying, my 16-year-old was saying, I'm shot, Shakira is shot, T. Willis shot.
Her sons, 18-year-old Zaquez Sherrill and 15-year-old Tavarius Sherrill, died. Shakia was also shot and injured, along with her 20 and 16-year-old daughters and her 13-year-old son, who was shot multiple times but survived.
He got shot 9 times. He got shot the most. He got shot 9 times. One of the shots in his leg actually clipped the artery, so he lost a lot of blood. He had 3 different sets of surgeons to work on him.
She described both of her sons as genuinely nice and outgoing children who attended Pearl Cone High School.
My 18-year-old Zaquez, because we dark complected. I used to call him my light skin because he was the lightest child. Funny, outgoing. He loved his brothers and sisters. And it's a shame because when you see him, you also see my son Tavarius, which was the 15-year-old. They got his life took. Tavarius was the protector. My 15-year-old, he walked around like he was everybody's daddy,
One of the suspects, 29-year-old Christian Johnson, died during the shooting. She says she still doesn't know why anyone would target her family and has this message for the community.
I just want the world to know that, even though this is such a tragedy, I don't want any street justice. People do things for certain reasons we'll never know. But I just want whoever it was to know that they really, really took parts of my heart for no reason.
Now, even though Shakia was also shot, she says right now her main focus is on her children who are still recovering tonight in the hospital.
Across the state, thousands participated in the Bands Off of Our Bodies protest. And right here in Nashville, many told me they will continue to fight for women to have a choice over the decisions pertaining to their bodies. The message was loud and clear as hundreds of women and some men rallied for a better future when it comes to the right to terminate a pregnancy.
There's lots of choices that people will get to have every day. Why not this one? This is my body. It's my choice. Why does anybody else get a say over that?
That's what's in question after a Supreme Court draft opinion was leaked that discussed the possibility of overturning Roe versus Wade. People from all over participated in the Bands Off of Our Bodies nationwide protest. Hundreds gathered in Legislative Plaza Saturday afternoon, then marched over to the federal courthouse.
I know people personally who have been in a position where they could have died had they had a child. So the arguments say pro-life, it's not there for me.
But for anti-abortion rights supporters like Tony Bradshaw, who had the choice to abort his daughter after doctors advised she would have birth defects, it's all about making the right choice.
So if I listened to those doctors, we probably would have chosen to do an abortion, but we chose to go against what the doctors were advising us to do. And now she's 17 years old, perfectly fine.
Mike Kennedy and his girlfriend Paula are visiting Nashville from New York.
It's effortless to get a vasectomy. It took 15 minutes, and I drove myself home.
They heard about today's rally and knew it was important to be a part of this movement.
I'm from a state, New York, where abortion is safe and legal, and it always will be. But in places like Tennessee, Texas, Florida, those rights are really under attack right now. So no matter where you're from, you got to show up and fight.
Mayor John Cooper has also come out in support of abortion rights. If Roe is overturned, Tennessee and several other states have trigger laws that would immediately make abortion illegal. For News 4 Nashville, I'm Danielle Jackson.
That video was the most critical piece of this. It was the most important thing.
Home surveillance video was the biggest clue for Natricia Honoré and her son, Kobe Thornton, after a driver hit Kobe while riding his bike near Clay Street back in December.
I wouldn't have gotten anywhere without that video. Wouldn't have known a car, wouldn't have known the person, wouldn't have known what to look for. So that video was so important.
She says she used that video from a neighbor to figure out the driver behind the wheel. For months, she's been searching for the vehicle and the person responsible.
My brother and I were out canvassing, looking around for cars, and we got up early one morning and saw this black car going down the street, a street over from us, and we took a few photos.
After doing her own investigation, Monday, police identified an 85-year-old woman as the driver. They say she could face charges related to leaving the scene of an injury accident. It's been a long recovery process for 10-year-old Kobe.
And now we're dealing with a pinched nerve, temporary paralysis in his legs. He can't walk some days. His toes will start tingling and go numb. His feet will do this. There's times that I have to help him to the bathroom. There's times I have to help him walk.
Kobe says he's just glad the person has been found.
Like I said, my birthday is coming up, and this is the greatest birthday gift that has ever happened to me.
Now that they know the person behind the hit and run, she says her son just wants one thing.
My son just wants you to own up to it and tell him that you're sorry.
I hate waking up and seeing the gas price.
Ernest Rodriguez says it's a pain putting gas in his tank.
The gas I used to get for $10 to get me to work now it costs $25. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't feel like we should be, paying that much.
Tennessee Democrats on Capitol Hill agree that drivers need a relief from the high prices at the pump.
This 90-day moratorium would be about $224 million put back into the pockets of Tennessean and Tennessee families.
State Representatives John Ray Clemens and Bo Mitchell wrote a letter to the governor asking to hold state gas taxes for 90 days. The state's gas tax is 27.4 cents per gallon, bringing in $900 million a year. They say they feel like the state has ample resources to do away with these taxes for a short period of time.
They just don't need this extra cost put upon them. So putting this $224 million back into families' pockets will ease the pain for many Tennesseans. In the state with the surplus we've had over the last few years, we can easily afford this for a Tennessee family.
Connor Creek chauffeurs part of the day. He knows how much gas prices are impacting local businesses, but says the true stress lies on the average person.
It's less taxes, so it's a give or take. But, I would think as a whole it would help everybody out because I feel like most people are struggling, especially you go on social media nowadays. Almost every single post is about gas prices, and grocery prices.
Others agree it's hitting their pockets hard, and they would like to see this hold on taxes make it through.
I really hope, the state goes through with holding these taxes for the people, considering, we pay taxes.
The free milkshake promo is dubbed Snip for Shake, and as you can imagine, it's garnered attention all over social media.
Order up.
It's quite the promotion plastered on the sign at Daddy Dogs in the Nations.
I saw it on their Instagram first, and I wasn't expecting it to go viral.
Grace Josie, a longtime Daddy Dogs patron, found out the restaurant is offering a free milkshake to anyone who can prove they've had a vasectomy.
Men got to do their part too. It's not just us. It takes two to tango. So if he's helping some people tango more safely, then I'm all for it.
Hey, come on down if you're snipped.
Sean Porter, the owner of Daddy Dogs, came up with the Snip for Shake idea after Roe versus Wade was overturned, wanting to bring awareness and options for men.
I came up with the idea after I got my vasectomy about 3 years ago. And I thought, just kind of went in the back of my head. I'd be like, it'd be funny to partner with a urologist, and it just, hot dogs and all that kind of work well together. And then when all this kind of stuff happened, it popped back into my head, and I was like, let's try this. And, like I said, it's been a lot of fun, and the response we've been getting is overwhelmingly positive. Hi there. I'm Dr. Big Daddy.
Snip for Shake has been offered to customers for 6 days now. So far, 25 patrons have received a free shake. You have to show proof of getting the procedure done through a doctor's note or insurance bill.
It's actually a pretty funny account.
First-time patron Eli Matus came across the restaurant's TikTok.
We came out here to check out Ugly Mug and saw Daddy's Dog sign. We thought it looked real cute. And then a couple weeks later, we saw it blow up on TikTok.
He says this promotion is definitely great marketing about a serious and controversial topic.
And it really is important to talk about it from the standpoint that, women aren't the only people on this side of the conversation. Men and everyone else are just half the equation.